How's it going, everybody? I'm the BTC Reaper. My goal on this channel is to teach you how to reap the rewards of trading, whether the price is going up or down. Yuga Labs accused of IP theft for trademarking BAYC Wolf Skull logo. Yuga Labs has been accused of intellectual property theft for illegally trademarking the Bored Ape Yacht Club's iconic Wolf Skull logo without proper licenses. The Wolf Skull image was initially released by Easy Drawing Guides, a company specializing in drawing tutorials for beginners and children. One user posted, "Bro, Bored Ape Yacht Club, Yuga Labs, what effing joke? But haha, you got some explaining to do. 4/5/21, and your kennels came out 6/21. And you went to trademark the skull. Are you guys okay, or have you bumped your heads?" So they're saying, hey, this is someone else's work and you're trying to trademark it? Easy Drawing Guides confirmed that Yuga Labs was not licensed to use the wolf skull drawing. The intellectual property rights, for the drawing belongs to Easy Drawing Guides, as it was our original drawing and protected our terms and conditions. Did I bump my head? Shit. The company's terms and conditions grant non-transferable, non-exclusive, revocable, limited license to use and access the website solely for personal, non-commercial use. Non-commercial meaning you cannot sell any items with this image. Yuga Labs submitted most of its trademark applications in the second half of 2021. They covered a bunch of BAYC logos, artwork, and branding for use across digital products. Jeremy Cahan's filing is just another attempt to distract from the real issue at hand, his infringement of Yuga Labs' intellectual property. In his opposition notice, Cahan claimed that Yuga Labs abandoned their rights to specific logos and artwork design due to BAC NFT sales granting all rights to owners, which has since been revoked. I posted a video on that a while ago when that happened, because they don't really have the trademark, so they had to take that out of their website. He also claimed that the company needs to rightfully own specific skull designs since the firm handed over the rights to ApeCoin Centralized Autonomous Organization, or DAO, in March 2022. What's the title? Ethereum devs found critical bug ahead major upgrade. Mirs van der Winden, a core developer at Ethereum's upcoming Shanghai Capella upgrade, reported a bug found on the testnet Jiahing. Van der Winden stated the last 4.5 stressful hours of debugging accumulated in this amazing bug fix. We got reports that Goeth nodes wouldn't sync in the Shanghai DevNet correctly. The issue was that if a BlockFi was empty, no transaction, no withdrawals, we wouldn't initialize it properly. The goal of the Jiahing testnet is to stress test withdrawals in BLS, a digital signature scheme used to prevent forgery. In Ethereum's testnet, the validators sign a test blocks to ensure that all of them follow the consensus rules. Using a signature scheme like BLS can help to address this problem. The DevNet had 600,000 validators and 360,000 of them performed withdrawal credential updates right at the fork, or right where it's going to happen, where this new upgrade would be. Ethereum is the verge of the expected Shanghai Capella upgrade, improving its computation, transactions, and validation in new blocks. Still, most importantly, it will allow validators to withdraw their ETH locked in the Beacon chain, the proof-of-stake blockchain launched in 2022, or ETH2. So for some of you that have your ETH locked up in ETH2, this will be a relief for you when that does go through. San Francisco Fed is hiring a developer to build a CBDC system. However, there's concerns. The Fed of San Francisco is looking to hire a senior application developer to develop novel systems related to central bank digital currency, or CBDC, per job posting on February 18th. The San Francisco Fed revealed that the successful candidate would work full-time as a mid-senior executive. The developer would be a technologist tasked with conducting CBDC research and development. Successful candidates would join a world-class team in dynamic environment with the feel of a startup. So you'd be in a startup team, basically, of people who haven't done this, but they want to get together and make a CBDC. However, the way the project is concerning. San Francisco Fed is one of the United States central banks. The Fed is the financial partner of the United States government. They actively advise monetary policy, regulate banks, and administer consumer protection laws. Not very well, they didn't protect against Terra Luna or SBF. This advertisement and hire is part of the Fed's mission of promoting accessible, safe, and efficient systems to facilitate dollar transactions, so they say. Out of the research, the successful senior application developer will come up with the central bank and seek to understand further the costs and benefits of potential technologies for CBDC. The goal will also be to help the San Francisco Fed to understand the emerging field. Wow, that's a whole position in its own right there. The SEC has been criticized specifically by the crypto community for their action on stablecoin issuers. Some speculate that the United States will plan rapidly develop the digital dollar. The existence of a privately issued stablecoin, observers note, may present headwinds that make the implementation of monetary policy hard to, and penetration of the digital dollar once launched slower. So basically what they're saying is the US is probably going to rush out their launch of the digital dollar just in the sake of having one, just so they can have control, instead of taking a slower approach and building something steady and strong that won't get hacked or potentially have some sort of problem later down the road. Helium set for its Solana migration on March 27th. The foundation stated that it is currently constituting an upgrade readiness working group. The group would consist of volunteers in the community to be responsible for monitoring the migration process. It would also choose the final date of the migration, as March 27 remains tentative. This announcement came months after Helium announced that it would move to the Solana blockchain. The blockchain-based decentralized wireless network provider said that it was moving off-chain last year. At the time, Helium Foundation claimed that its focus is currently split between maintaining the Helium Layer 1 blockchain and working on other development plans for the network. By the network, they mean mobile network. By moving to Solana, it can focus solely on developing the mobile network. According to the foundation, Solana offers speed, scalability, wallet compatibility, viable ecosystem, and help is in progress. And they also provide you with the ability to be like, hey, can you... Yeah, that'll be your phone call. So, onto the charts. So we do have a little bit of a bearish pattern, however we could make a bounce here. This is based off the daily. Our momentum waves sort of kind of curling. Our money flow is staying stagnant. Our VWAP is coming down, so short term we may have a downtrend, which is somewhat concerning, as we could lose this level if we do start a downtrend. Over on the 4 hour, we have our symmetrical triangle kind of drew out as we made a new high and then came back down, and we're trying to bounce. We do have a sign of manipulation with the stocks. They don't always play out to be a bottom. Oops, sorry about that. Sometimes you just go sideways like there, or here, you dropped a little, then went sideways. And sometimes you can get them just before a run up. So a red X doesn't always mean, hey, you're just going to drop down. There's a few reasons why we may not just drop down, and we'll get into those. Our VWAP on the 4 hour is sort of going flat. That is a positive sign, as it could start to curl up. Our momentum waves kind of coming down, but it may flatten out as you see it rounding right here, and our money flow is coming up. So that is positive, as our money flow was coming down previously. Over on the 2 hour, our money flow is kind of stagnant. It's just going up, down, up, down. Our VWAP's starting to come up. Our momentum wave's somewhat starting to curl. And our stochastic is somewhat starting to curl, so we may have some bullish signs here. We did have a bearish divergence with our RSIs, so we did get this big candle drop and a little bit more drop. That could be our play out, and we could come up. As you see, we are bouncing along this pattern here. I also have a volume profile on top of our volume profile for this range that we have been in. It's from this candle over to this candle, and it'll continue on. So our green is our bearish, our value area low, our blue is our point of control, and our red is our value area high. So you can see we did touch through this, and we're so far trying to make a bounce up. If we're able to confirm a bounce up and stay in this triangle, that would be a good area to make a long. Not financial advice, and we could come up to the top of this triangle where we would be close to our value area high, but I'd look to get stopped around this point of control. You may want to take profits there if you did take a long from here. As far as our volume profile itself, we don't have very much volume to the downside, so we could drop down and then come back up. Possibly. We'd have to see what would happen if that does happen, so be prepared for that. Don't go all in just because we have this symmetrical triangle. Doesn't mean it's always going to go up. A symmetrical triangle is 50-50. Just because it's a bull pendant doesn't mean you should just ape in and go nuts. It's better to use proper risk management and miss a little bit of a move than to go all in and take a big move and a huge risk that you're not comfortable and get wrecked, and then mentally be kind of thrown off your game. If we look over at the 15, we are getting a red dot that followed a green dot, so that's a little bit of a bearish sign. Our stochastic and RSI want to break this neutral zone, so that's a bearish sign too. And our VWAP kind of flopped, so, and our money flow is coming out. So 15 minutes not looking that great. We'll want to see some sort of bullish sign and a push off of this support level if we're going to maintain this bullish trend. So we got a little bit of a request to look at graphs. So we're going to start over at the daily. We almost have a bearish engulfing candle here. A bearish engulfing candle is when you get a big red candle that is as big as the other candle. So look for that tomorrow. It looks like this market, this exchange is different. This is KuCoin. This is MEXC. So that's why the daily is going to be a little different than our KuCoin daily. I may end up switching to MEXC, so I may have to make some adjustments here, but we're going to look at the MEXC because it's licensed in the US, and I'll do a little video on it later. We're sort of flat on price. Our momentum's coming down. That is a bearish divergence, so I would be cautious of that. Our RSI is doing the same, so flat on top and coming down. Not the best look there, but we could look at the lower time frames. Our VWAP is trying to come back up, and our money flow is really strong, so those are positive signs. Our stochastics started curling, so it could give our RSI some strength, and just because we have this divergence doesn't mean it will play out. Like I said previously, these divergences can happen, and then you'll just invalidate them as you're making your run to the bull market. Over on the 4 hour, our VWAP's starting to come up. Our money flow tried to fall, but maintain being in the green. We'll want to see it pick up here. We do have a red dot on the momentum wave, so that's something to be weary of. We have a red X, again, could take us down, could do nothing. Like here, did nothing. Here, took us down a little, then we went sideways, and then just ran up. So red X, sometimes they'll come in pairs when you see like two, like one after another, one here. That is kind of concerning, but we didn't spill too far because we're in a more bullish environment. We could cover that later when we do a video on this market cipher, now that we've done a little more with it. Over on the 2 hour, you can see that bearish divergence highlighting. We do have a red X here. We are kind of flattening here, so that is a bear flag. Let's zoom in a little bit. Yeah, somewhat of a bear flag. Not really. Bear flag would be flat. You could kind of draw a line here and here. You'd have to kind of watch. Our money flow is trying to come up. VWAP's trying to come up. Our momentum wave is trying to come up, as well as our stochastic is trying to make a bullish cross. So I'd watch the next couple candles. If we start to move up from here, that'd be very bullish for graphing both Bitcoin. Now over to XRP. We did fall a little bit out of our descending triangle. However, our momentum wave's somewhat starting to curl on the 2 hour. VWAP's starting to come up. Stochastic might make a bullish cross. And our RSI is pointing up. So we're looking somewhat okay. But we do have this long upper shadow candle. Long upper shadow candles can be a bearish candle, especially since we tried to make a bullish engulfing candle then got slammed back down. If we look at the 4 hour, pretty much similar thing. So you'd want to see if this confirms up to be a bullish engulfing candle. If that does happen, that could be a good sign for us to break this downward possibility and continue upwards. Our RSI is somewhat flat here, and our stochastic's coming down. If you look at different RSI, you can kind of see it going downwards from, I don't know, someone tried to draw a bearish divergence. I don't really, or a bullish divergence, I don't really see that. So, I don't remember what time frame they're looking at. Oh, it might be the 2 hour here as we're coming down on RSI, but prices, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Our RSI might be a little different than their RSI. But our momentum wave is curling, VWAP's coming up, and our stochastic might make a curl on this a cross on this 2 hour, so that could be a bullish sign. We're trying to break back into this triangle, so if we break back into it, we may be able to fight to this resistance up here. If we look over at algo, we are still in this ascending triangle. Our momentum wave's starting to curl, stochastic's starting to curl, so we're losing some of that momentum we have. VWAP's kind of going flat, starting to lose a little bit of steam, but our money flow's coming up. We could just somewhat be cooling off for a run up. We do have a green dot possibly printing here on the 4 hour, even though we're somewhat coming down, so that could be a bullish sign. VWAP is trying to cross bullish, however if we drop too hard that will cross bearish. Our momentum is coming down, and our stochastic's coming down, so our RSI is losing strength. If we look over at the 2 hour, our VWAP is up. We did have a bullish cross. We have a bullish divergence here, bullish cross on our stochastic. So those could take us up. You see we did get a red X here, but we continued upwards. So that's what I'm talking about. Just because you get a red X doesn't mean you're going to go down. It is a bearish sign, but you want bearish confluence. You were pretty close to the bottom. You were rounding off. Momentum was kind of staying tapered. You did have a red dot on your momentum before, but your RSI was coming up. So, kind of conflicting signs. I wouldn't have aped in here on the trade. Thank you for watching tonight's video. I hope you have a great night.